With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. So a bride-to-be says a photographer fat-shamed her by photoshopping her and her fiance to look 30 pounds thinner and posted a nasty Facebook rant about the morbidly obese couple when she complained. Now, this is a mouthful of a title, and I have to fight the urge to make a fat joke about the bride. Because she should be used to mouthfuls. It's a horrible thing. As a fat person to another fat person, I get it. Food is good. I like food. But this story kind of cracks me up because it shows you there's often a disconnect between people who take your pictures and then the people who want their pictures taken. Like the people who take pictures usually hate customers, right? Because of things like this. However, I'm not entirely on the photographer side here. So it says that Ohio bride-to-be went through a humiliating experience when the photographer she hired for her wedding photoshopped her and her husband by 30 pounds each and then posted a nasty rant about them. Listen, when you go and you get wedding photos done or you go and you get any kind of professional photos done, oftentimes they trim you up a little bit. They fucking take off some of the edges. They make you look a little bit better. This is not an uncommon thing. This is not an un-new thing. And I just find it funny that she got really mad. This is one of those things like, why would you be upset that they made you look 30 pounds thinner? Usually by your wedding, you are trying to be 30 pounds thinner. This is, again, is a common thing that you see. You know, it's just a natural part of it, but okay. Katie Liepold found a photographer for her upcoming wedding. The $600 package included engagement photos. She said everything went great with the photographer Linda Silvestri from Tower Photography in Medina until they received the pictures from the engagement shoot. Liepold said she first noticed blurry images and weird angles, but what really caught her eye was when she noticed two photos that had been photoshopped to make them look thinner. Now, like here's one of the sets right here. All right, the one on the left is them normal, and then the one on the right is them, you know, 30 pounds lighter. And what I find to be really funny is if you just look at the background, you can see where like she pulled the background with her with the Photoshop, so it does make the creek look a little bit different. But they look a lot better in the photo on the right than they do in the photo on the left. And ultimately, wedding is meant to be kind of a fantasy, you know. So you would figure that was something that they'd want. Something I would want. Like, oh yeah, get rid of the jowls, get rid of the cheeks. You know, when I go like this, don't make it jiggle as much. You know, do your magic. I'm paying you to make me look beautiful because I'm too lazy to go to the gym myself. That's where I'm at right now as a new father. I'm too lazy to go to the gym myself. So anyway, this is them, and they're a cute couple, right? They're a cute couple, and I don't want to mock them too much here, but ultimately, okay, listen, maybe it's a bit much, but she took off a little bit just from the chin, right? Made it just more defined. It stands out a lot more, and it looks like a much nicer photo. And him, you know, a little bit, you know, whatever, but still. So so this is the photographer's letter, but we'll get to that here in a second. We really didn't need the engagement session, but it was in the package, so we did it. The day of the shoot went as well as could be expected. We laughed, we talked, we joked, we shared stories. When the couples went to get the photos, they noticed it didn't quite look like themselves. She actually photoshopped one picture of us skinnier. She probably took like 30 pounds off of each of us, said Liepold, of a shot of her and her fiance, John Kistler. The bride-to-be contacted Silvestri with concerns, saying that wasn't asked for, and I just feel like that was really hurtful and my pictures weren't good enough to be left alone. So the photographer suggested that the couple cancel the contract, but the ordeal didn't end there, because it rarely ever does. It rarely ever does. The photographer said she would keep the $150 deposit since she spent the time shooting the couple for the engagement photos. And ultimately, if you get a full wedding contract for shooting for $600 engagement photos and wedding photos, that's actually a really cheap deal. A really, really cheap deal. And, but you know, you're still going to pay out pretty much a deposit in these cases. So I get that. Days later, Liepold saw an insulting post by Silvestri on a Facebook page called Northeast Ohio Wedding Professionals Only. This is, I have to say, we'll go read the letter here real quick. But I have to say that you got to be careful in these situations, because if you're going to a professionals page that can be accessed by other people, word gets around, right? So this is what she says. And people wonder why I've scaled back my photography business. Last week I did an engagement session for a morbidly obese couple. From the way that they were picky about certain things during the session, I knew they were going to be a pain in the ass. First of all, their 4 unruly dogs had to be in the pickup next to the lake, of course, which had ducks. Ugh. Then their truck had to be in the pics, which of course was parked in the direct sun because there was no shade to be found anywhere. It had disaster written all over it. She loved the preview and then picked apart the images once she got them, even though the contract says they get delivered on a disc. Then she asked for a jump drive, no problem. I simply sent her a message and offered to void the contract for the wedding since she'd only liked 25% of the 110 images I delivered. I told her I just wanted her to be happy with the wedding images. Problem solved. No, I forgot to move the grass and mud stains from his pants. And of course, they didn't like the lighting in the truck pics, even though I told them they were squinting. I wish whomever ends up with these two good luck. It is extremely difficult to get Pinterest-worthy lovey-dovey pics when people can't even get their heads close to each other. The first pic she was upset about, I gave her a chin tuck. The second pic was as close to their heads as I could get without straining. Oh yeah, she left me a 2-star review because I wouldn't refund their $150 for a 2-hour session. I'd rather have the bad review than deal with her any further. Okay, done. Now that is a bit of a harsh thing. And if you look back up here at the one, you can see she did in fact give the girl a bit of a chin tuck. And I can see why she maybe isn't happy. I can understand that, but at the same time, you know, the photographer's job is to make you look good. And just I find that to be a little bit odd. You can see here, like he's squinting here because he's looking directly in the sunlight. For some reason, they chose to do it without having diffusers. Whatever, you know, whatever. But I find it funny that she's upset over that. I do. I do. I mean, I don't think I'd like it myself, but at the same time, I kind of find it to be funny. Now, the bride-to-be contacted Silvestri with her concerns, saying this wasn't what they asked for, and I just felt like it was really hurtful. My pictures weren't good enough to be left alone. So the photographer suggested the couple cancel the contract. Okay, I already talked about that. So they talked about the scaling here. The photographer posted a whole big rant about how just that week she had a photo shoot with 2 morbidly obese individuals. The post, which has been deleted, coldly said it's extremely difficult to get Pinterest-worthy lovey-dovey pictures when people can't even get their heads together. And the thing is, like, when I was doing baby photos, like pregnancy photos with my girlfriend, like, she was pulling up Pinterest and like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, what can we realistically do? Like, you know, how can we make this work just right, you know, without having like the right sunlight or having the right stuff. So there's things that go into this, and people need to manage their expectations when they go on Pinterest and they want to recreate a certain look, because not every photographer is going to be able to recreate said look, and not every photographer is going to be able to make everyone look pretty. Just saying, sometimes people just do not photograph well. I personally feel I do not photograph well, and I'm on video every damn day. So she says here, I didn't pay her $150 to have her make fun of me on a site. In a statement to Daily Mail, Liepold said she felt it was important to speak out about her own experience, saying the reason why I brought my story to light to warn others about tower photography and potential other vendors like her. I felt duped by a wedding vendor and I wanted to share this story with other brides. I feel like I was able to tell my story, but I feel like the focus was more on my weight and fat shaming and not the whole story. Liepold said that this cautionary tale about posting on the internet and that the photographer is being bullied online as well. Which would make sense based on what she said was pretty cold, but photographers, man, they talk to one another and they are not nice about it. They are not nice about that at all. Trust me, like, you'll hear stories about wedding photographers and whatnot, and the stuff they say about the bride is insane, because, you know, the bride, not every bride's a bridezilla, but sometimes it can be that bad. Liepold's, okay, so I would just like to say that even though I feel she's unprofessional, not a nice person, nobody deserves to be bullied, not even her. That I can agree with. Meanwhile, Silvestri told News 5 that she's keeping the deposit since she spent 2 hours shooting the engagement photos, and said she's apologized for photoshopping the couple to make them look thinner. And that's about it. I think, like, the thing is, you know, like, I honestly think she's mad about being about getting the thinning, because, like, I honestly want to say, like, low self-esteem. Like, I just, You know, like I looked at like my people Photoshop photos of me before, like and tighten some stuff up and whatnot. It's like my family members are photographers, and they look pretty good, you know. But it's also like you can also look at it too as being a dishonest thing, maybe kind of like that could be something. Is that it's a little bit on the dishonest side simply because this is not you, right? But at the same time, your wedding photos, your engagement photos, you want to set the intention, you want to set the scene, you want to set the excitement. And I feel like if the photographer made them, I mean, she really did a lot of work on the dude. Like she tucked that in. I mean, she made the guy look a lot better too. I just think that what it is that the woman here, Kate Liepold, just I have a feeling she's got the low self-esteem, and that maybe is what came out of it. And of course, this particular posting is not going to help the situation. It does only exacerbate it. But at the same time, professionals talk to one another, and this is the whole thing. It's not a great story any way you look at it. Ultimately, I feel like the photographer probably got her $200 or $150 worth, and the people learned that, you know, it's not always going to work out the way that you want. So I just, you know, I mean, I'm a fat guy. I get it. You know, like I've done videography at like weddings, and I've done, you know, different events, and I've been told like only shoot me in this particular light because this is the only way that works for me. And I've been told not to shoot from this angle. And you know, people get self-conscious over that. And I ultimately feel that when it comes to to this person, that's really what it boils down to.